showed up under my umbrella. Oh, shelter from the cold. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? All alone. Your eyes match the weather, raining under pressure. Oh, you say you wanna go, yeah. So let's get away from here.
Morning, guys. Hello. I say, Tiddly Pop. What-o? So everyone talks in England, in case you didn't know. How's it going, everyone? I've got crumbs on my shirt, that's how I'm going. Ignore that! Ignore that! What have I got on my shirt? Guy can't even dress himself. We are going to be gaining some iRating, guys. That's the mission today. Or for the next few hours at least. And what time do you gain iRating? What's the best time to gain iRating? Week 13, obviously. Hello, Spitfire. Hello, James Andrew. JR Sim Racing. Donate iRating? Why would you do that? I've got coffee, yeah. Coffee's fine in the morning. I mean, tea and coffee. Mix them all up together. Hang on, we've changed track here. This was Hockenheimring yesterday. Now it's Barcelona. I was not paying attention. I've been eating breakfast bars, actually. Recently. Well, I've never driven this track before in this car, so... Plan for getting iRating. Already going well. It's already going absolutely swimming. Ow, ow, ow. There we go. What's the crack? Potato! Can we have a potato in chat for Lawrence, guys? Potato! How's it going, man? Mr. Sim Magic himself.
Right side.
See, I'm full of optimism. I'm about as optimistic as a prairie dog that's been cornered by a pack of wolves. Potato! I want potato now. It's supposed to be working. Lawrence is so working the streets like the rent boy that he is. Don't tell his wife. He's not really a rent boy, guys. Just in case. Well, maybe he is. He might be a little bit of a rent boy. Don't tell anyone though. Oh no, he's going to lose his job now when they find out. they'll be like, oh, we don't employ rent boys here. Let's be real, we're all rent boys. We're all selling our soul for something. But only Lawrence is selling his soul to be pummeled. I'll stop. Ah, dear. Ah, poor Lawrence. Working for a corporate... Exactly. I was ahead of you there. Well, do I need to get the McLaren GT4? Will it drive like every other iRacing car? Somewhat sloppy. It's totally the real thing. Chili dog. Christ almighty, this is a good track, this. Wow, this is this rating on this race for people for wondering. So it is week 13, but the Ferrari. I think this race is rated still. Pension and job security. It's all a lie. Lawrence, we've moved to the gig economy now. Hello, Super Sim Racing. That's all gone. Gig economy, there is no security. There is no pension. Either you get rich or you... that's it. Welcome to the United States of Great Britain. Chili Dog can't talk. He's just there drinking wine and eating cheese. Chili Dog's insurance plan is his children. They don't know it yet. They think that their father loves them. They don't realise their father's just had them for an insurance policy. That's the only reason to have children, let's be honest. Why else would you spend money on them? It's so they can look after you whilst you can't feed yourself. Ultimately, robotic technology is not at the point where robots can hold a spoon and feed you when you're old. So you have to have children so they can hold the spoon. That's the only reason to have children. Hello, Bobby Smurder. Morning. Guten Morgen. Auf dein Morgen. Bitte. Hello, Daziminator. Now, the problem with driving on tracks in all these places around the world is it makes me want to go on holiday. Terrible. Well, Super Sim Racing, if you're like me, I never have any, like, focus, so... Unless I'm 100% in the zone, but not when I'm live streaming. I have no focus whilst live streaming, so it doesn't really matter what time of the day we live stream or play games. I just had an idea for a challenge. Normal sub racing, but for each £1 donated, turn down the steering lock. Yeah, we did a force feedback thing like that a while back, and it literally took 3 minutes before I was at 100% force feedback. Random call sign. I'll commit Son Goku when I'm too old to take care of myself. So, when's the funeral?
Car on.
Random call sign's
You're
already
there.
an old man.
Clear.
I've been to his. I walked past the front of his house and he had a sign on the lawn that read, "Get off my grass, get off my lawn." This is such a boat of a car. Hello.
Dear Mr. West, we are writing to issue you a cease and desist.
Oh, again.
It is far too early to be playing iRacing, and the front-end feel is inferior to any Kuno sim. We will be issuing a letter to the dog of Chile, as he is a known
Shit.
iRacing shill.
He is.
Regards.
Weirdly though, the seat of the pants from IIFFB gives better force feedback than ACC, so we've ended up in a strange world where iRacing has produced a sim with better force feedback than Kunos for people that like to feel what the car's doing. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. It's like Satan suddenly becoming good. Thank you for the donation. I'll give you a... Hang on, we've still got the teas from... There we go, look. Cup of tea. Thank you. No, I don't think I'll be doing a 10-hour live stream because they're not good for me. I mean, I enjoy doing them, but I end up being absolutely knackered the day after, and I have headaches and body hurts because I'm old. But I enjoy doing it, so I have to just not do that. It's a bad idea. Depends on the car. Yeah, I think some of the cars in iRacing are still utterly, utterly broken. But, you know, we IIFFB. I tell you what, I was doing... Well, I'm not going to say because I'm going to do a video on it. I'll leave that for the video. The NLR wheel stand, good for someone with little space. Well, I don't know what the NLR, or Next Level Racing wheel stand. Yeah, it's alright. It's not my favourite, though, to be honest, because the layout of it is... the layout of it is a little bit off, I think. Like, the way it's like bunched together. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad solution. It could work for some people, and it might depend on the type of chair you've got. But yeah, no, it's relatively compact. If you're going for absolute compact wheel stands, Wheel Stand Pro is probably the best option. But the Wheel Stand Pro is nowhere near as solid as the next level wheel stand. So maybe if you've got something like a CSL Elite, the next level wheel stand might be a better option, you know, or above. iRacing must love you. Look, I think some people are kind of like anodyne or don't like to say what they're thinking through the fact that it does obviously damage you financially if you say your opinion too strongly, or if you point out facts.
Hello again, Mr.
Jesus
West.
Christ.
What you have just said on your stream counts as slander. Furthermore, it's ironic you need to pay for a third-party app to get decent
free.
force feedback from it.
It's free.
I blame the canine of coldness. Prepare your legal counsel. Regards, Kuno.
Thank you, Kuno's lawyer. IRFFB is totally free. Thank you. Thanks for the donation there. Appreciate that. Oh yeah, the G2 Mega Classic. Oh, also, I mean, I shouldn't say anything about... I shouldn't say this because I'm not being paid to say this. And it might be very expensive. I don't know if it's out yet. There's a Japanese company that makes a table for like that you can put your force feedback wheel on. It folds away. They wanted to send me one to review. I'm not sure if I'm going to... I don't know if I will because I don't have that much space. But it could actually be a very good product for other people. But it entirely depends on the price of it. And also because it's... I don't know if they're retailing it internationally.
What is the motive behind
Jesus
this
Christ.
demand?
Guys,
Necessity.
calm down.
Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
Morning, GM.
What is... Oh, hang on. Am I actually getting donations here? Or is this just like a... Hang on, what's going on here? This is all delayed stuff, surely. This is... Hang on, what's going on, guys? You're broken. Streamlabs, I'm like, hang on a minute. Why are we getting donated? Wow, Jesus Christ, here we go. I wish. This is from like 2 days ago. I was like, hang on a minute, why are we... Right, we need to turn Streamlabs off. Thanks for those of you that did donate legitimately. Jesus Christ, thank you, Streamlabs.
What is the motive behind this demand? Necessity.
It's like every
for
donation
money.
from the last month.
I'm not supplying money for necessities.
This is not helping my quality
Podium
up.
in sight.
Oh, here we go. Jesus Christ. Fuck. Streamlabs, come on. What is wrong with Streamlabs recently? This is all from our, like, stream the other day. And hang on, Biden Gita, that's the donation we had for the Microsoft Flight Sim stream. It's going to play all of them. Well, how do I skip this shit?
One more lap.
Oh, Christ. It's review and customs. Yeah. I've got to concentrate on the lap here. I'm going to have to turn the
What is the
donation alerts
motive
off,
behind
guys.
this demand? Necessity. Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
It's going to take it so
No
long.
way. How have I missed this? And it's iRacing.
It's going to take like 40 minutes to get through all that. Thank you, everyone that does support us. Thank you, Streamlabs, for proving once again that you are effectively useless. There's no other Streamlabs type donation systems, is there, really? I don't really have a choice here. $1 gazillion. Yeah, but then if someone donates and then I want, you know, and we need people to... I need to know that people have wasted money on me so I can say thank you. FIFA, it's a
What
bug.
is the motive behind this
not-
demand? Necessity.
I'm not that
Necessity
popular.
for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
And no, Streamlabs actually don't take commission. So they're not actually leeches in that sense. There's a credit processing fee. There's a processing fee, but that's not really. Streamlabs make their money by selling Streamlabs OBS and what have you. Right, here we go. How do I restart Streamlabs? Let's do that. I'm trying to get a lap in here. Bloody real world drivers don't have to deal with this. Lewis Hamilton's not driving around a Formula 1 track with donation alerts in his face, is he?
What is the motive behind this demand? Necessity. Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
A dingo ate this donation.
That was the Australian live stream. This is like well delayed. Okay, hang on, just logging into my stream now, here. Oh, crap. Now it's doing. Now it wants to verify that I am who I say I am. Hollywood Marathon. Get in the pits. Well, we did have. Yeah, thank you to Kunos Lawyers for sending money to me. That was recently. That was legit. How do you turn off all donations? Jesus Christ! Skip alerts.
What is the motive behind this demand?
Come on.
Necessity. Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
There's no. I can't. I don't know. There's no way to like. I can click skip alert, but it's knackered. Maybe if I force it. Oh, yeah, there's no way to... Hang on, Kunos Lawyer has just sent another donation. That's going to be like an hour. Right, I tell you what I can do. I can make the donation thing smaller. So if it keeps popping up, I'll make it smaller over my head so it doesn't block the game. And then I'll turn the volume of it down. There we go. That's probably the best solution I can think of. Kunos Lawyer. Well, we'll see when that comes through. We had the belief that you bribed your iRacing to the dog of Chile.
Necessity. Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
Don't touch jellyfish.
Don't touch jelly. This is from like 3 days ago. Right, okay. Thank you very much, guys, for supporting us in the past. This is what happens if a live streamer goes through a black hole. Time dilation of donations. The donations of Christmas past. It's a good plan, Lawrence. I didn't think of that. Box jellyfish. Right. Jesus Christ, where did I qualify? I made my mirror larger field of view so it's easier to avoid people. Okay, here we go. This is good. If I don't get punted, I'm car 20, so anything I gain is decent.
Behind this demand? Necessity. Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money
Oh shit, I need to turn the volume down.
Car fault, of course, now. Give me an animal, you animal.
Here we go.
Green, green, green.
Right, T1's going to be carnage. So I want to be on the inside of it.
Left side. Stay on the right. Clear on the left.
Look at him, look.
Blue car
There
ahead.
it is. On the way
Car on your
through.
left.
You got to keep an
Still
eye
there, hold your
behind
line.
you as well as an eye in front of it. There it is.
Slow car ahead. Still there. Hold your line.
Jesus
Go
Christ,
right.
there we go.
Clear.
Like, you've got to look in front and behind at the same time. I feel like a velociraptor being stalked by a T-Rex.
What is the motive behind this demand? Necessity. Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
$10 for 10 laps. Hope this helps GM.
Nothing to see there. Get a worse frame rate on this track, that's weird. T-Rex!
Car on your left.
I don't know the break point for that corner.
Still there.
So.
Hold your line. Clear. Clear.
What is he
Left
doing?
side. Clear on the left.
Don't pump me, blue car. Come on.
Keep to the right. Stay on the right. Clear.
Behind this demand. Necessity. Necessity.
Really need to know where the
I'm not supplying money for necessities.
For the tight left-hander after the straight, guys, where's the brake point? What? How many metres is the brake point? Unfortunately, this car in front of me is not very fast.
Left side. Still there. Keep to the right. Clear on the left. Car on your left.
Just the blue car missed the brake
Clear.
point there.
Car on your left.
Just
Clear.
safer for me to let him through. Thanks, Dave Cam. Dave Cam's wasted far too much of his life on iRacing.
Car on your left.
He's the
Clear
guy
on the
to
left.
know.
Left side. Go right.
My
Clear.
God, that was close. Black box on the left, on the right. Oh, what, the flag light?
Left side.
Jesus
Still there. Hold
Christ.
your line.
Are
Clear.
you sure, Dave? Was that not the flag light then? Luckily, my rearview mirror skills have improved here. That was close. Fortunately, I have eyes in the back of my head now. Well, I think you can brake later than that because the car in front absolutely zoomed it past us. Oh, this guy might be someone that was wrecked and is faster, so hopefully we can use him as a reference.
I'm not supplying money for necessities.
Ish. Dave Cam was giving instructions for the moon landing. You want to run the burners for about 15 seconds or so. Moon lander proceeds to leave orbit of the moon. Ish. Ish. By 15 I meant 5. Whoops-a-daisy. Turn right. Dave, have you been doing drugs again before playing iRacing? Because your track descriptions are somewhat... Oh, you want to turn left at the little puffy cloud that resembles that of a beaver. You want to be braking at the tree that looks like an antelope fornicating in the fields.
Left side. Stay
Oh,
on the
Jesus
right.
Christ, don't pummel me, guys, come on.
Clear.
Well, we can definitely brake later for that. Or maybe I'm braking too much and not carrying the speed through it through fear of that corner not having any grip. We're northern. Turn left at the entrance to coal mine. If you look at chimney stack, put up brake at chimney stack. Turn right when you find sandwich on floor. Put full throttle on once you get to Greg's. These guys are going to take each other out for dinner. This feels like motorboat racing. Always strikes me as weird that people are slow around corners in iRacing but good at braking at times, and vice versa.
What is behind this demand? Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
Maybe it's time to go to bed, GM.
I've just woken up. Donation alerts. It's not time to go to bed. It's 11 in the morning. Right. Oh man, they're breaking it like 100 meters. I'm surprised there hasn't been a motorboat racing simulator. I know Kuno Stefano's working on a sailboat simulator. It actually looks really good. But yeah, motorboats would be fun. Well, there's lots of different types of motorboat racing. That jet boat stuff would be fun. Up a river. That is true, Tortellini. Hang on. Fact.
What is the motive behind this demand? Necessity for money. I must supply money for necessity.
I will move out of the way.
Clear. Left side.
Oh no, here we
Stop
go.
on the right. Clear.
Delayed troll donation.
Go right.
Well, if I learn the brake points on this track, I think we could do all right here. I just need to... Because I'm not even applying... I'm sort of braking about 60% because if you lock up in iRacing, it's a bit brutal. Also, I need to move the brake bias back in this car, get it to turn in a bit more on the brakes. But I'm still learning this track with this car, so...
What is the motive behind this demand? Necessity for money. I must supply money for necessities.
Thanks for the stream, mate. Time to turn my screens off and restore
That's better.
power to the grid.
If it does have ABS, it still locks up with... Well, iRacing ABS makes the cars understeer massively in a really delayed way, so from my experience with the cars that have ABS in iRacing. So whether or not it's got IBS is kind of moot. IBS? Irritable bowel syndrome? ABS? Annoying Ashley! Well, you can always get some other wheels, like Simicube 2 is really good. I mean, even the SimMagic's a pretty nice bit of kit, good value for money.
Necessity for money.
The nice thing with Fanatec is the wheel rims and the pedals and everything all plug into a single thing. The podium works on console. I mean, I would rather you get Fanatec using my affiliate link, obviously, but there's lots of options out there. They're all good. Oh, Lawrence has bought all the SimMagic wheels. Yeah, it's a shame the Crew 2's got really bad physics and the level design's really boring. Because the idea of planes, cars and boats was actually a really nice idea, but it's kind of pointless if everything handles in the most bland way possible.
Necessity for money. I must supply money for necessities.
Never see skills like that from Jimmy Bredman.
Oh, that was a delayed bread tin burn. Poor guy. Jimmy's been burnt from the past. Ah, Nipper, hang on, that's through YouTube. Thank you, Nipper R, really appreciate that. That's not going to get alerted on the screen. Thank you so much, it's very generous. It was stupid and generous, appreciate it. Island is slowly it's sinking. It's not global warming, it is purely Lawrence de Soa's sheer quantity of DD wheels. He's like that, the warehouse that... Where was the warehouse that exploded that had all the chemicals in it?
Necessity for money. I must supply money.
Lawrence has a warehouse full of DD wheel motors stockpiled. The silicon shortage is actually Lawrence de Soa. Warehouse full of DD wheels and 38 TTIs. I was trying to do a Lawrence accent, but I cannot do a Lawrence. Cannot do a De Soa voice. It's too hard. I need to practice my Irish accent. It's not an easy one to do. Hello? Companies don't send you free. They should do. You're a James Morris because they assume that you're Dr. Evil with your James Bond villain office. So, you know, they're like, well, does Dr. Evil need our equipment? He's clearly, he can build a den in a volcano. Hello, iRacing.
I'm not supplying money for necessities.
Desperately need to move the brake bias back, but I don't trust this car on this track yet to do that.
You got a slow car on the left. Car stop on the left.
Why you guys don't... you realise all the donations that are coming through aren't because people are donating right now, right? So don't feel like guilted into sending me money. These are donations from like 3 days. Streamlabs having a fart. But for those of you that have sent me money today, well, and also the people sent me money before, thank you very much.
04, Andrea.
We got some anger. Borrowed or bought stuff. Well, to be honest, it does help. It is.
What is the motive behind this demand? Necessity.
Oh dear.
Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
It's easier to make a review on something you've bought, mostly because there's no time pressure behind it. So you do it when you totally fit. It's not about being like more or less critical or more or less honest. It's just if you've bought it, you can, you know, you don't got a responsibility to produce a review of it. So that makes, well, maybe it depends on the type of personality you've got. For me, I'm like, I have a problem with authority. So, you know, I also don't like being forced to do anything. I like to be free like a cat, roaming the road, only to be run over by a grandma that didn't see me crossing the road. You know. Necessity for money. Thank you. Oh, shit, the bed.
Necessity. Necessity for money.
Hang on, let's get the Delta on the screen.
I'm not supplying money for necessities.
Yeah, I mean, I am pretty... I'm sort of anti... anti-disestablishmentarianism. No, I'm not that. I'm like... Yeah, I'm not really for authority. I'm really like pro... Sort of anarchist a little bit. Not entirely, though. Like, there are values to systems and systemic structures, but it's very important that those systemic structures allow autonomy. It depends. There's a balance. So, like, you know, if you look from a business structure thing, we talked about this before. In some business situations, it makes sense to have a defined structure and defined job roles, and you know, and it's actually easier and better for the individual workers to have a very defined framework. It makes it more enjoyable to work in that kind of structure. And other times, it's better to have some kind of like cabal type system that Valve uses. And you can see with like the Valve software type approach, sometimes they produce absolute genius, and a lot of the time, absolutely nothing gets done on projects that certainly need to have just grunt work done on them. So, yes. What's that sketch in Monty Python where the king's there, he's like, I'm your king, and the guy's like, oh, there you are on your horse. We're in an anarcho commune.
Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
Here's a tip. Don't stuff it up, GM.
Thing is, whenever you have like a group or whatever, you always then have the power dynamics and them like butt licking, and then like people that will lie or disregard stuff, or you know, it creeps in. It happens with anything, from like the smallest of things to the biggest of things. Humans love structures of power.
Car stop on the right.
I'm being oppressed.
Right.
Oh, there we go. Well, we gained iRacing. That was the mission.
There's the flag. It's over.
We need to move the brake bars further back.
We're going.
What? Why is he depressed? We started way further back. Shut
What
up.
is the motive behind
Shut
this
up,
demand?
race driver man.
Necessity for money. I'm not
Come see the
supplying money
violence inherent to the system.
You damn tart.
Alright, let's look at the race start there. When's the next one? I mean, oh my god. Every time on this track, Monza has a bad reputation. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a good way to actually gain iRating because people are terrible. This is like my bread and butter, cars flying all over the place. It's like Live for Speed days. Right. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm looking at here. That was a fail. Great job. Good camera work, Gamer Muscle. You know what you're doing. Full-time live streamer, yeah? Right. When's the next one?
What is the motive behind this demand? Necessity for
Where's the
money.
new McLaren?
I'm not supplying money for necessities.
Can you actually...
3 laps to go. Second is the first of the losers.
Oh, no, he's gonna... Here comes more of those donations. Oh, first of all, let me reduce the sound of those donation alerts. There we go. The Porsche race is... It's a bloody Long Beach. And the Porsche Cup car is not exactly my favourite. Look at the robots in batteries. Looks like the robot in batteries not included is next to your head, eh? Oh, my webcam. I see what you mean. Tin Top Tussle, that's unranked. And we're trying to gain rating here. Let's see what we got. Good day, Jordan Cerberus.
What is the motive behind this demand?
Tea's fresh. I'm drinking coffee.
Necessity
at the moment.
for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
But it's fresh.
Push, biceps.
My results. I look at that, 21, which isn't terrible. I did 2 yesterday. We got 24 in that one. This was a right mess. I had to bloody park up to let cars go. So, someone was in front of me because this is Hungary, and the guy crashed in front of me, and I was like, oh, there's cars everywhere. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to the left off the track, sensible thing. And a guy turns left at a right angle and parked right in front of me. So I had to reverse and then wait for the entire grid to go past
What is the motive
to then get back on the track. But we still managed to finish that one in 12th, which is okay. And then we got a third on this one. So that was pretty good because we started in 13th. We got 73 ratings. So we're getting a, it's like World of Warcraft with cars. This is Lawrence de Soa's theme tune. Lawrence de Soa. Everybody, it's Lawrence de Soa. In your bed, naked in your bed. Whitey naked in your bed. Lawrence de Soa. Why aren't you wearing clothes? Where are your clothes today? Put your clothes on, Lawrence de Soa. Nobody knows why he's wearing no clothes inside your bed. He's naked in your bed, and he's in your head. Lawrence de Soa, crazy Irishman. Lawrence de Soa. Emotion. Naked. Lawrence. What a tune, guys. I can't sing to piano music because I don't know what key it's bloody going to go to preemptively. Why would I wear my clothes in your bed?
What is the motive behind this demand?
What?
Necessity.
I don't know why Lawrence is naked in my bed again. Oh, this is ranked. I won't finish in time. Or will it?
Well done, GM Sports Medal.
Well, this finishing time. Simply beautiful. Not a sense of sarcasm at all. Oh no, it finishes too late. Phoenix Raceway as well, so we're not doing that. A new low. Right, we're gonna just maybe we'll practice a little bit, and then we'll do the next one of these. Well, they're crying, Lawrence. Mostly because of the mostly because they're now going to check under the bed covers. What is this tune?
What is the motive behind this demand?
Someone wrote this.
Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
Nice racing.
The next Eurovision Song Contest winner. Fortunately, that's the one positive of COVID. It stopped Eurovision Song Contest from taking place. So, people say COVID's really bad, but hundreds of thousands of people dead, no Eurovision Song Contest. Some might argue it's a fair price to pay. Who doesn't? I don't know why we're picking on Lawrence today. We've claimed he's stolen all the... So far, Lawrence has been called a potato. We've claimed he's stolen all the graphics cards and the DD wheels. And now he's some kind of deranged pervert, clothesless inside all of your beds. Lawrence is under attack.
What is the motive behind this demand? Necessity.
Well, that's it, Lawrence.
For money.
Or you'll
I'm
just
not
have to get
supplying money
better.
for necessities.
You'll just have to get more talented at it. Well, you could clone yourself. Hey, Niels. you missed a really talented, well-produced, well thought-out, highly culturally relevant piece of art. That's what you just missed out on. Who in chat has got a 380? I bet Niels has like a 390 in his system. I bet Niels uses his Husingveld pedal faceplates as a CPU heatsink. Niels' house is actually constructed out of Husingveld pedal faceplates. All the spares, the miscuts, the offshoots. Niels has reinforced his house. His next door neighbours are like, "Why is there a military bunker next to us?" And Niels is like, "No, it's just I don't." Niels is apparently he's had a stroke. That's how he talks. It's like we're just the spare pedals. That's my Dutch accent. That was terrible. Oh, man. So, I'm not going to do Irish accents or Dutch, because I can't do either of them. I need to practice. Chad RX 580. Come on, guys. Type your graphics cards in chats here. Let's do some research. Still on a 2015 iPhone. Oh, that's dedication. They're not bad, to be honest. GTX 970 to 20. Oh, 2070 is nice, yeah. This is built from pedals. I had. In 2012 was the i5 2500K. I had that for like 8 years, 9 years. It's such a good processor. Before that, it was like the Nvidia 6600s and the. Were they I don't know what they were. 2080 gang. Hang on, look at these rich kids in chat. 1070s, 1070s. It always used to be like this. Come on, gamer muzzle. Victor Hovervan? Who's gamer muscle? Sounds like one of those degenerate live streamers that have failed at life. That don't deserve anybody to watch them or pay attention to them, yet they still do, and I'm not quite sure why. Bloody YouTubers, they should all be put to death. 2080 Super Aorus. I've got a Voodoo 2 Dave Cam in my loft. I'm never letting that graphics card go. The box art on the Voodoo 2. Make sure you all check out my YouTube channel, guys. Hang on, have we got the advert for that? Oh no! Oh, no, I haven't put it on my live stream.
Car
I'm just
right,
ruining
clear.
everyone's practice here. Don't mind me. Okay, we'll try not to ruin people's practice because they're probably actually practicing. Bit of an arse thing to do. The great silicon shortage of 2020. Oh, man, he's...
Car on your left.
Oh, no, but now we've got... Haven't we got
Clear.
dead mouse. Dead Mouse's Ferrari. Oh, didn't he do that? It was a Lambo that he did that to, not a Ferrari. I had an ATI 4 megabyte. Oh, what the, was that the turbo graphics, is it called?
Hot tea from snowy Russia, hot beverage.
What was it? What were the other ones? The before Voodoo, was it Matrox? I'm pretty sure in my first PC I had a Matrox.
Right side.
It wasn't really a graphics card. It was
You're
more
on
a
the
way
right.
to route the onboard. It was more a way to get another output socket. That was Matrox. Was those early Matrox cards using the GeForce 256 chipset, or was it before that? Pentium 1. I tell you what, though, nothing beats that time when with the first GeForce demos, they had one where it was like a tree, and you could choose how many leaves it had on it. It was like a procedurally generated tree. I think it had butterflies flying around it. Maybe it didn't even have that. They had a ball as well. This might be for GeForce 2, the ball one, where it was using it. It was just a cube map. Just a cube map, and the ball would deform, which would then deform the cube map, and it's like, oh my god, it's a reflection. It's not even like not even real time in the slightest. Oh dear. But that really excited me. I haven't seen. There's not been a graphics demo recently, which is like, you know, like the last what's that benchmark 3D Mark stuff. They're not like. There's nothing that's come out as a benchmark that's been like, other than, like VR does that for sure, but there hasn't been a sort of rendition Verite. I never heard of that. Matrox Millennium.
I'm not supplying money for
I mean, the problem is with graphics in games and photorealism, there's that graph of it gets exponentially harder to... Let's let this guy get past. I'm letting him pass. I pulled over.
Clear on the right.
It gets exponentially harder to produce more and more photorealistic graphics as you get closer to what is photoreal, so the progress looks minimal. But then, as I say, if you've got VR, like VR compared to a 2D screen is a huge jump. And then especially if they start doing foveated rendering and stuff, that'll be like, you know, actual dynamic depth of field and light field stuff. That I think is a massive jump over what you get on monitors. So I think that's the big jump. After that, it's done. No more progress can be made. It's all over, guys.
What is the motive behind this?
Nothing will ever be as amazing as when I first saw the first. How old are you, Rory? You're making us all feel old here. I mean, because Half-Life 2... Yeah, the Half-Life 2 DirectX 9. They did a DirectX 9 preview where it showed the normal map specular highlights on the rooftop section. It had like an antlion with the light shining off its like body. That was definitely like, oh, that's really nice. And the roof tiles look really nice. Then that was launched before that tech thing with the glass and everything. Lara Croft 3D accelerated pyramid chest. I missed that. Well, this is it. I mean, with Neil's being Dutch, you know, this is what they, you know, typical Dutch. Lara Croft red light district in Amsterdam. You know, it's to be expected, isn't it? Really. Just CD.
Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for
dear.
necessities.
Let's try this again, you absolute penis.
I think the first time I was like massively impressed by graphics was the Elite demo that was on the Atari ST, and it was like there were shaded polygons, but there was like a spaceship made out of like 8 polygons or whatever, and then it lands on a planet that is made out of like 4 polygons with music, really nice chiptune music. I missed the Tomb Raider thing. Like, I played it on the PS1. The gameplay in the first Tomb Raider was amazing. In some ways, games have regressed a bit in that they handhold too much. Like, they lose the immersion because of that. But I never really... When I played Tomb Raider, it was after I'd already been exposed to insane PC graphics. So it was more just the gameplay and the audio, actually. And the music was really good.
Necessity for money.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember the... Gran Turismo, the PlayStation 3 demo reel with the where they were trying to show off the emotion chip, and they had that woman's face and the Gran Turismo footage. That was really impressive. Kempston I don't know what that is. I don't know what a Kempston interface is. You got me, Dave Cam. I mean, Dave Cam is like 250,000 years old, so. Dave Cam's like, guys, do you remember that stone carving that we found in that well? That was the first time I ever saw a drawn image. Yes, it was beautiful. You could clearly see the spears. And also, if you looked closely, you could see what looked like a mammoth. But you have to remember, this was before flint chisels, and it was hard to discern the details. Oh, how things have come on since those dark, cold days in the cave. Ooga booga. I think it is me, Northern Caveman. How do you do a Northern Caveman? Oh, oh, down to pits. Oh. When you think of Stone Age men, you don't think of Northern Stone Age men. It's always some like generic Stone Age person. There's not Northern. Northerners are not represented in Stone Age reconstruction.
Necessity. Clear on the right. Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
Oh dear. Right, we're done now. This is not a productive qualifier. This is... People are like, why are you so slow, Gamer Muscle? Well, because I'm bloody talking complete bollocks rather than actually learning driving. I don't know why am I even sim racing. What am I doing? I should do live streaming where I'm eating food and talking. It would make much more sense. Mukbang Muscle. I am Uhtred, son of Uhtred. You have no honor. Guys, watch Last Kingdom if you've not seen it. It's terrible. Acting's awful. It's really bad, but it's good fun. It's really good. It's awful but good. What are you doing, mate?
What is the motive behind this?
Exactly.
Necessity.
Every child dreams to become a Northern Caveman.
I'm not supplying money for necessities.
Northern Caveman sounds like some kind of luxurious outdoor equipment, like Northern Rock. Or is it Northern Rock? What am I talking about? That's a bank, isn't it? North Face. Northern Caveman. We sell premium climbing equipment with only the best quality Gore-Tex. Breathable Gore-Tex climbing equipment. You can survive in temperatures of minus 30 degrees in the Northern Caveman sleeping bag. 5 seasons, safe and warm. Northern Caveman. Only available online. No, they'd have one of those stores with like a waterfall in it and and like a climbing wall, and it'd be 2 stories, even though they only sell like 5 products. That's how Northern Caveman would operate.
What is the motive behind this?
Their logo would be some like pretentious silhouetted caveman. It'd be like a caveman silhouetted with a climbing what are they called, those climbing picks. So they'd be like, oh, it's so clever because look, it's a caveman. They wouldn't have a climbing pick, but you can tell what it is from the logo that's silhouetted. Ooh. Oh dear. I'm not cynical in the slightest. Gore-Tex flat caps. That's a good idea, actually. That's what I'm saying, Dave Cam. I think the stream's delayed and Dave Cam's just caught up. We both had the same idea there. That's what I like to think. We're on the same page. Bold dome radar connected there. Sleep like a northern caveman. We need to register this. Northern Caveman Limited.
Well-deserved wing base.
I'm going to actually try and drive a bit faster here, guys. Because I know that you're all here to see supreme driving, obviously. We need to hit the brake points, really. Let's try and push it a bit. Oh yeah, brake bars needs to go further back. I don't know, what should we put it on? STA? I think that already seems really far back now, 48.
Clear.
Oh, that is the maximum. I know. Let's go 46.5, 3, because I can't boo 5. Is anyone in chat going to join the next race here?
What is the motive behind this demand?
F1 testing replaced.
Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
Oh, you know, who needs F1 testing? Oh. Are you all practice, Dave Camp, for the Porsche All-Stars race? Is it tomorrow? It's Friday, right? So it's tomorrow. I don't know what day of the week it is. I think it's Friday right now. All kinds of blends into one. You use 51.8? Maybe braking a lot in the straight line. I find this car just doesn't want to turn it. Like, I want it to turn, like, you know. I want my boat to turn. This... One of the things I've found playing iRacing more recently is that the cars, relative to other simulators, they feel really, really, really heavy. Like it's like you're driving cross-channel ferry on snow. That's how I conceptualise it in my mind. And then when I sort of think of it like that, then it makes more sense for how I then respond to what the car's doing. Because I'm like, oh, it's really heavy. So
You got a toy car on the right.
it kind of explains why it just keeps sliding for ages, or why it's reluctant to move. I mean, you know, that's just how I see it in my head. Right, how does brakes on the front help with trail braking? Oh, what, in terms of not losing the rear you're on about?
What is the motive behind this demand? Necessity for money.
Whoa, look at that cone launch. Yeah, I mean, I don't brake hard enough initially, so I brake too softly. A lot of that is me not trusting iRacing rear end when it does lock up. I don't have the confidence to stamp on the brake. If you're already braking, surely the fronts are already loaded up. If you come off the throttle and you brake a little bit, the fronts are surely loading up regardless. Unless there's some like specific thing to iRace. I mean, I don't know. It's because of your motion rig. It's nice that this is fixed setup.
Mr. West, we are writing to issue you a cease and desist.
Car on your left.
It is far too early
Clear.
to be playing iRacing in the front end feel is inferior to any Kuno.
So with this Ferrari, what I found is the getting on the throttle turns the rear around.
Regards. Hello, Mr. West. We believe you have been bribed to shill iRacing, but the dog of Chile.
I see what you're saying, Dave, but I'm sure I would have thought.
The hound of heedless houses.
So if the rears have grip, if you've got grip, which you would have to have, otherwise you're crashing, especially in iRacing. If the rears have any grip at all, you're going through a corner. There's grip on the rears, so you've not gone over the limit. If you were to apply any, like you've got room to apply brake, then the car will slow down, right? So then surely the weight will innately then go forwards. if you have a forward brake bias, I guess you could argue that, you know, the load is more on the rear of the car innately through the corner based off whatever the setup is, and so you've got more braking potential to use at the front. But as long as you've got enough that would cause it to redistribute, I don't know. I don't physics. I found with this Ferrari though, once you pass the midpoint in the corner, you can use the throttle to turn the car in anyway, so... Yeah, but the front, what I'm saying is the front's going to be loaded by default if you're coming off the throttle or you're braking. And if you're braking in a straight line, then I think it's more, to get the maximum brake in a straight line, it's more a question of what's the correct brake pressure to allow as many wheels as possible to get the maximum amount of grip out of them. You know, so that aspect of bias is that there'll be a point where you can brake as hard as possible without the front or rear locking up. If you have two rearward brake bias, the rear will lock up well before you're getting anything out of the front. That's my understanding. It could be totally wrong. I mean, this is just based off a sort of intuition of what I would think would happen, which is normally a very bad way of doing things. Cruising.
What is behind this demand? Necessity for money. I'm not supplying money for necessities.
Tea time? Question mark.
You got it, slow car.
Yeah,
on the
that's
left.
what my
Go
thinking
right.
was, Niels. Explain yourself, Dave Cam. Here we go. Fight. Choose your contender. In the right corner, Dave Cam. In the left corner, Niels and Game of Muscle. In the other corner, confusion, as nobody actually fully understands iRacing physics and they might not actually pertain to reality. Welcome to the UFC Ultra Sim Racing Car Setup Brake Bias Fight of the Decade. Who will win? Who will lose? Everybody will lose because it's sim racing and it's a complete waste of your time. I think there's margins to it though. I think what Dave Cam's largely talking about is obviously the degree to which you have it front or back, and you know. No, that was the argument I was making, Niels. Niels is agreeing with me. I don't believe it. Although Niels is saying that it's a much more concise and easy to digest way. And you were saying the opposite, Dave Cam. Fight! Oh no, actually no, Niels was disagreeing with me and I'm dyslexic. I've lost. No, I think Niels was agreeing with you, Dave. He was disagreeing with me. God damn it. I misread that. Yeah, all I know is... All I know is that, unfortunately, iRacing doesn't give much feel on the brake pedal through the force feedback, so I can't tell if I'm pushing the brake too hard or not enough. Until you push it hard and then the back squirms out, and then you know you've pushed it too hard, and then you know the rear's locking up, and then you know to adjust the thing. But it's all like visuals. It's not like I want to feel it. I want to feel it through my bottom. Get the spreadsheet out. No, it's all... Everybody disagrees or agrees. Nobody knows. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anymore. That's old age, isn't it? when you're younger, you have like an argument with someone or a discussion about something, and you're like, oh, you know what is going on, and like, because you don't know anything anyway, so you know what's going on. As you get older, and you sort of learn more about random stuff, but you know you're an idiot. you learn how much of an idiot you are, and also your memory doesn't work properly. You're like in a discussion with someone, and you're like, I don't know anymore. What? I don't know. He's right. It doesn't matter. Just drink a cup of tea. It's fine. Have a cup of tea. It's all good. I've heard weird arguments with brake bias from like in multiple sims from different people, where it's like, I don't know if they're talking about the sim having a specific physics thing in the sim, like the way the traction control works might affect it, or there's some like weirdo thing, or if it's actual how they set up traction control, brake bias and what have you in a real car. I've seen you see like arguments on the iRacing forums with like brake pressure, brake bias stuff. It's like, well, I don't know, whatever. My only experience with like in terms of real cars, I was chatting with someone that they were setting up a car. They were testing the car in real life. They were testing the car, prepping it for a race that was going to take place like in the future. So they were just developing the car, whatever. And literally, I was like, oh, why do you set? How were you choosing where to set the brake bias to? And the driver just went, I'm going around the track. I'm applying as much brake as possible as on the limit for this each specific corner, and the corner which is the hardest corner, which is causing the rear to lock up. Then that's defining it for me as to where I'm setting the brake bias to as a general start point for what we're going to do in the future. And then obviously they adjust it as they go through the session. That is that's my only real world experience of actual someone saying a logical argument for real world brake bias settings. Trail brake, lots, so never have it too far back. I trail brake, but so separate to this other discussion, I trail brake too much in simulators, and what I think it is that because sim developers for some reason have this aversion to seat of the pants, like actual G-force feel, which is absurd. Like there needs to be an option there, because in a real car, if you don't have seat of the pants feel, you're driving a remote control car from first person. So as a result, one thing that you do, even with like steering rack force feedback or whatever feel you do get from a sim, you can, if you're loading and going through the corner, if you trail brake, you can feel it loading up, especially if the back's going to step out. So as a result, if you're someone that drives from force feedback, you end up using force feedback as a reference, and you end up then trail braking more than you probably should do, because you could get more of the speed off in the ideal situation to get speed off on a car is in a straight line, from my understanding, because all four wheels, everything's as it. You're using all available grip, everything's sort of neutrally loaded as best possible. It's going to depend on setup and everything, but you want to get really hard on the brakes and then come off it and then maybe trail brake a tiny bit. But I find, because of the force feedback thing, I'm like trail braking like I just don't brake properly at all. So if you're watching this, don't copy my driving, is what I'm saying. Oh no, who started talking about setups? Yeah, Tom. Yeah, no, I think everyone agrees with that. Like, obviously, if you have the brake bias really far back and you're going around a corner and you trail brake, it's more likely to put you in a spin. It's almost as if discussing something that has multiple variables and attributes is really bad for a productive conversation, unless you were to literally get a sheet out, list everything down, and actually, define everything that someone's saying. It's almost, if that's the case, it's almost as if that's where a huge number of sim racing arguments come from, is the fact that people just aren't on the same page of the discussion. Oh, thanks, Matthew Coleman. It's very generous. Wow. I always wanted a top-notch setup for fixed setup racing. Do I like Formula 1? Not really. I mean, I like the qualifying session. I think it's terrible as a sport at the moment. Hopefully next year's rule changes will improve things. I like F2. F2's pretty good. MotoGP's good. But yeah, no, F1's a bit silly, really. It's you know. I do watch it sometimes, though, so I don't dislike it, but it's very silly. Of all motorsports, it's rather silly. Probably one of the most silly. Right, here we go. Let's try and actually qualify in top 10 or so.
Green flag, green flag. Okay, here comes your first time lap.
Very late, trail break, mess. You could shorten that for just mess on the t-shirt, mess. That summarises most of my sim racing. Probably most of the viewers on this channel sim racing. Mess. And my flight simming. In fact, my life in general. But, you know. Hello, 15-minute game. Oh, he's back for another 15 minutes. I really appreciate your 15 minutes of patronage, the 15-minute gamer. Hello, Real Benny Mac as well. Hey, guys that just joined us. Hope you're all good. Thanks for joining us this morning. And thanks for watching whilst at work, presumably damaging your economy. Really appreciate it. Who needs to be productive when you can watch idiots on the internet? Good times. Good times to be had by all. Oh. Oh yeah, guys! If you don't know Niels, you should check out his YouTube channel. He has some really good videos, specifically on like tire model stuff, car setup stuff. You know, like actual, just they're nice things to know if you're playing driving simulators. And Niels sort of does a very neutral approach on it. He's not very divisive. The only downside with Niels is that if you watch his channel, you might leave with bleeding eardrums. But that happens on this channel as well. So you know. There's no escape from bad singing on the internet. What has happened with sim racing? Everyone's bloody singing in sim racing now. It's like some like weird. What's happened? It's probably like some astrological things happened. Pisces rotated. And now all the sim racers are singing.
One more lap.
You're off this week. Did your first race in iRacing got put? Killed by a floating car. That happens. You should learn how to sing. I think in Western culture we have a weird attitude towards singing in modern Western culture where it's like, oh, unless you can sing like actually well, you shouldn't bother. And it's like, well, that's stupid. Like, you know, even singing badly is quite fun. And also, the more you do something like singing, the better you would get at it. Maybe not the evidence would speak otherwise on this channel, but, you know, it's a shame that people are... Fair enough, they shouldn't sing around other people that don't want to listen to it, but it's a shame that as a Western cultural thing, it's really not encouraged. There you go. That's my cultural argument for today. I think the good thing about sim racing is if you're prepared to sit in a toy car driving thing, you know, you've already demonstrated that you have no real care what people think of you. So, you know, you're like, well, you can't go any lower, so you might as well just start singing. Oh man, there's so much time to get through this if you actually take those corners respectably. Look, DD Girl is a work of art. That should be in the Tate Modern.
Alright, there's the checkered flag.
So by default, this car actually has a really neutral brake bias, which is weird. Can another mod ban Chili Dog for that pun? I didn't see it. Some of the best sang songs are the worst with no feel. Like a simulator with no force feedback or emotion in it. Whitney Houston could sing, but Pearl Jam. Yeah. It's like those sailor songs. I love the Korean karaoke stuff. There's a good podcast actually. Why are we talking about singing? What is going on here, guys? Stuff You Should Know podcast is quite fun. It's sort of just like, you know, it's I think it's by the same people that write for How Stuff Works. They'd have like random things. It's quite relaxing. Is, you know, if you just like to sit and have facts rattled off and stuff, you know. Yeah, Stuff You Should Know podcast had a good thing on the Korean, like the history of the karaoke and the guy that came up with it. How it was all like sort of chance and then just took off. It's interesting. Stuff You Should Know podcast. Yeah. Rage Against the Machine. Oh, here we go. Let's have another divisive chat. I think what happened with Whitney Houston is the first time she sung it, it was great. But it's been replayed and sung so many times that kind of like removes the, you know, it's like if you had an amazing steak, but if you had that every single day, you would be like, well, it just becomes the norm. It's like if you know, like Formula 1 drivers, they're like, oh, I'm bored of this car now. Because they've had it every day. So they're like, I'm used to it now. Whereas someone that's never been in an F1 car will really, truly enjoy it and appreciate it. And what I'm saying is, put YouTubers in F1 cars. You know. Right, here we go. Here we go for another Smash Bonanza. 21-19, so we stand to gain more iRating. It's all about the points. World of Warcraft in a race car, that's what we're here for. Hey, Jampy. What's up? We're all good. Oh, my drink's getting low and it's getting cold.
Grande David, mucha suerte, chicos.
What a nice... Hola!
Hola!
There we go. Nice bit of with international relationships. Oh, the donation rubbish is finished. Thank you, everyone that donated. Let me fix that here. Really appreciate it, guys. We're back now. Replaced. I don't know why the alert list is broken. See if I can get that back on the screen. No. There we go. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for those guys that donated for this stream as well. Like just the last 4 or so donations. Really appreciate it. Here we go.
Green, green, green.
Bloody hell, Smoky Joe's. Right, I'm going to try and stay on the inside again. Seems to be the safest place to avoid...
Clear, car on your left. Keep to the right, go right,
yep.
Go right, clear on the left.
It's definitely on the right is the safer place to be.
Slow car ahead. Go right.
You want to be on the inside of a corner typically when there's a chance for an accident, because obviously cars that lose it will slide out of the corner. So 90% of the time the better place to be. So what's really nice with these races is having so many cars. It's pure live for speed. It's a shame iRacing don't run more of this massive grid racing, because it's one of the big things that iRacing can do that other sims typically don't. You know, as a regular thing.
our right.
Try and
Keep to
leave
the
as much
left.
space as possible.
Keep to the left. Clear.
There we go. It's a bit better. What's this guy got in his car? I need to get a car skin on this vehicle. I never take those corners like quick enough. There we go, it's a lot better. Look here, Leonard, you're like the #1 AMS2 fanboy. Do you work for Reza as like some? Have they like employed you as like the #1 propaganda propaganda man, internet propaganda Reza AMS2? What are you doing as a free service? Oh, come on. Leonard, you should start a YouTube channel because you are like really opinionated, and so it's good if you are like an opinionated arse. It's good to do it on YouTube because it like by pissing people off, you'll find that some people don't get pissed off by you, and then you get an audience, and you know you might as well turn it into something productive. Like I used to just argue on forum, you know, type shit on the internet, about everything, not just sim racing. And then you're like, well, actually, you might as well make YouTube videos about it. I was saying this to my dad as well, like, because he posts stuff on Facebook, he gets riled up with the shitty political situation. It's like, rather than just typing crap online, set up a channel. Because at least it forces you to think about things more clearly and convey stuff more clearly, unless you're live streaming. And it's productive. Like, Try and use your energy that you have productively. That's what I'm saying. Internet comments a total waste of time. Virtual sim wars. Well, the sim wars are great. I quite enjoy it. I'd rather people argue about driving sims than other stuff. Here we go. I play AMS2 occasionally. I think it keeps getting better. They're doing lots of work on it. It's as I always say, like a big thing with game developers is if a developer keeps on building on something, you know, it's that's the main thing. There's a thing where some developers produce a game and just leave it, and it, you know, which can have its own benefits, but unless they're like a massive AAA company and they get it right out at the start,
You got it. Slow car on the right.
you know, you often get stuck with bugs. Reza did an amazing job with AMS1, and already they've done a really good job with AMS2, to be honest. Even though I definitely think there's a lot that is still a bit funny with it, but. So I'm driving at like 60% here. I've not quite got the confidence to really push yet on this track with this car. With this cross-channel boat Ferrari. Yes, we can keep up with this guy in front. I can push a bit harder here. We can definitely be a lot better on the brakes. And I can definitely carry a lot more speed through some of these corners. You can't get your steering wheel to work in race room. What wheel do you have? I think we're having an argument in chat now about which sim's best.
Car
Jesus! Just had to dive out of the way of that guy who was going to
You're on the
rear-end us.
right.
He's so lucky. Lawrence, I just had to avoid you there, man. Oh, he said sorry. That's all right. I'll let you off. I never miss break points. This rear view mirror on super wide field of view is well good. Because the cars, when they're about to hit you, they fill up the whole mirror and you're like, Mayday, Mayday. Oh,
Down
Jesus
your left.
Christ. What an
Down the
inside
right.
plumage there.
Clear.
That was fair enough, though. I left the inside open. You need to defend the inside of that corner. I just read his name as Vladimir Putin. I'm like, all right, fair enough. Better let him pass, otherwise he'll have me thrown out of a 5th-story window. That's bullshit, Niels. Everybody knows that city car driver, big rig racing. What's it called? What's that lorry game called where you can drive faster in reverse and you can rotate at like 400 miles an hour on the spot? Those are the real sims. I reckon this Vladimir Putin guy's going to take out the car in front. Over the road racing, that's it. And you literally can drive over the road, unless there's a bridge, which ironically you can't drive over. Oh, bugging the arse, keep changing gear on. Yeah, Big Red Racing was amazing. Also really impressive at the time. I think it used a Vauxhall based graphics engine. With like really good physics. Unfortunately, the physics in that game were locked by the CPU time or something. So if you tried playing it, like someone brought out a fix for it recently, the last like 2 years. But if you tried playing it on modern systems, it would the timing of everything was totally messed up. It was built during the era of having a Vauxhall Corsa graphics. It was built during the era of having the turbo button on your PC. Yeah, so someone said they couldn't get their wheel detected in Race Room. Did they say what wheel they had? Because if you've got like if it's any of the Fanatec wheels, Logitech, Thrustmaster, any of those types of wheels, it should just work. You might have to create a new profile in the game and bind the buttons manually and what have you. But in general, it should just work. I'm putting my car in the middle there because the car behind it was getting closer. I need to attack here. 6 minutes to go here. It's a really great track, this, you know. I mean, it's a shame they messed up the last corner. Like, I get why they did it, but it was stupid. Should just not race the last corner. Like, what a ruin of the flow of this circuit. Everything else about it's really nice. Let's go first gear then. Logitech. Oh, you know, it should just work. Yeah, it should just work. Like that wheel's like the baseline wheel for Sims to use. Leonard, we moved on from that conversation. Everyone knows you love that sim. It's a fundamentalist sim racer. Oh, come on. It's a... Starting sim racing life. No, yeah, the G920 is absolutely fantastic. Oh, fair enough, Leonard. The G920 is a fantastic wheel. Absolutely great. It's a good choice as a first wheel, especially because you get a H-pan shifter and the pedals are nice as well. Well, this is the thing, Niels, that I think a lot of sim racers don't realise, and you'll have come across this because you'll have worked with lots of real race drivers. A lot of sim racers really don't realise that real race drivers are as opinionated and as affected by the subjective aspects of racing sims as sim racers. And at the end of the, like, again, going back to my seat in the pants thing, unless there's a way to convey well, there is a way. You can do it through force feedback, but developers don't seem to care about it. But unless you have that, or a motion rig that actually miraculously worked quickly, every sim, even if you had a sim that was perfect physics, would still be fundamentally abstract from the real-world activity. And so people are always going to be like, well, you know, this one's better, that one's better, because they might latch onto the visuals, or they might latch onto whatever arbitrary force feedback the game's used, or they might latch onto a specific feature set, or, you know. So the point is, whenever someone says this is the best simulator, well, someone can't say that without actually defining exactly which bit is best. Because otherwise what they've said is just totally useless. And that's the same with most conversations, to be honest. Like, people will say, this is the best. It's like, but you've not actually said anything. Like, you have to, any authoritative statement, you have to define it. Because it's fair enough to say, iRacing has the best World of Warcraft style online rating EPing system. You know, that's just a fact. Like, that's an objective fact. There's no other simulator that does that. So, you know, I mean, maybe someone could argue that, but that's what it does, and that enables certain aspects of racing. So a more nuanced thing would be like iRacing's netcode. Some components of iRacing netcode is utterly unrivaled. Like, when it comes to like the if someone's got a ping under like 100 or whatever, the sort of absolute car positioning in iRacing, the netcode, and the way however they've integrated the netcode with the car physics of the other opponents is absolutely incredible. But then if someone has any packet loss, or someone goes through certain corners in faster cars, you get invisible ghost contacts, and the physics response from car contacts in iRacing is fundamentally not realistic. It's ridiculous and worse than many other simulators. Project Cars, well, actually not Project Cars 2, R-Factor 2, AC1, ACC. So someone could be saying, oh, ACC's got better netcode than iRacing. It depends where specifically. And then also the car contact thing isn't necessarily a component of the netcode. That could be a component of the tire model not being able to deal with the condition of a sudden jolt. So a lot of these sim debates, it's just like people not defining what they're saying, I think. Well, we're in 8th place here. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that whatever I say is fact, and whatever anyone else says is wrong. And the reason you know I'm correct is because I have bigger text than you all. Fact. I wish I could do that in real life.
Left side.
Is he going to make the break point now? I left the inside open because I forgot to defend it, and then, you know, I feel like if I moved across there, it would have just caused a crash. See if we're faster than this guy. It's a nice little move up the inside by him. I don't know, I'm just getting iRating here. Because I woke up this morning and I just felt like getting iRating. I don't, you know. Sometimes, actually, you know, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know, I slept well last night, so I'm in a good mood. That's what's wrong with me. I had a really good sleep, so I'm just happy, which is quite rare. Normally I've got a headache, I'm tired and dizzy and shit, so it's just nice. It's just nice sleeping. And as a result, we can get iRating. There you go. You need the fat card in your wallet. Yeah, but there seems to be people in this series that have a lot higher iRating than me, so by virtue of just avoiding the crashes, we do all right. It's nice. Just a little bit of a drive here. Yeah, like, so these races I've been doing, we've been gaining between 30 and 70 iRating. It's a shame they don't have the radical, because we normally gain on that if I do more than one race, and if I know the track. Also, weirdly, this car has the same sort of profile as the Porsche RSI. Like, it really isn't the same car at all, but this is inadvertently helping me towards tomorrow.
Car stopped on the right.
Oh!
You got a slow car on the left.
You got a slow car on the left. He's messed that up. Can we squeeze it
Now
through?
on your left.
Yes, we can.
Still there.
He
hold
tried
your
to like
line.
defend us, and then he was
You're on the left.
like, no. Okay,
Right side.
I'm not. I
I
can't defend that.
Get me away.
Oh, we got the win. Oh, that was the end of the race.
Flag, checkered flag.
What a move!
Okay, we'll get him next time.
That was pretty good. I didn't even know that was the last lap there.
Why does crazy Spanish already in the end?
That was pretty good. You went in deep. Squeeze through. Made the car. That was like the Kessel run. This dodgy block here. I think that might have been enough to. Oh, isn't the start-finish line's back here, isn't it? Is that the start-finish line for this track? You guys have to help me out here. For this GT racing, is start-finish line here, or is it further on? Is it this one? Oh, it is that. It is that one. Just arrive and not crack. Exactly. Fact tattoo on your forehead. Yeah, we're doing all right here. Let's see what we got. Ooh, need another drink. Hope everyone's having a nice morning here. We got some more tea to put on the screen here. Yeah, the starting the pits thing can work, but you know, the thing is, why bother? Like, what you just need to do is like learn how to avoid people by putting the mirror field of view on high and just preempt, like, move out of the way of people that are missing breakpoints and things. And like at the end of the day, you're there to have fun and race, so just do that. Like it's a game. You're not. There's this whole starting the pits and don't drive. It's like if you're literally terrible. Well, to be honest, if you're literally terrible and you have no control over the car, you shouldn't be in an online session at all. So assuming you're not absolutely terrible, like you've got basic car control, you don't spin on every corner, just do the race and then but just be aware of the other cars around you and take it easy. Don't get goaded into driving beyond your own skill level, basically. But you don't starting in the pits and things. It's like, well, you're there. You're there for a fun race. I think, you have to. It's good to get. You need to have control of the car, which a lot of people don't have. Like that's what your start point should be. That. In fact, if are you on iRacing, I'll show you a really good thing to do. I'm going to do a video on this. We'll ruin the video now. What do we get here? Oh, we only got 15, but that's not bad. We're getting back up to 2,000 slowly. If we're more aggressive at the start, then now we're learning the track, so that'll be good. Right, so with this Ferrari, for example, some Yorkshire bloke said do that. Yeah, it's not necessarily terrible advice. It's just I think some people forget you're playing a game. You know, you're meant to be having. You know, you're going to learn how to drive with other cars by driving with other cars. You're going to learn how to avoid start crashes by being in the field when people are crashing around you. Yeah, look, so when's the next thing? Well, we've got 40, yeah, we've got a little bit of time. So if you do what the first thing you should do in iRacing, find the car that you're going to drive. So we're driving the Ferrari here. Get the car you're going to drive, do the test drive thing. Get the centripetal circuit, load that up, and we'll do this. And I've survived like 5 in a row now, Leonard. I've obviously pointed my sim rig towards Mecca or something. I got my sim rig blessed by the what are they? What religion is Gurdwaras? Is that Sikh? Is that Sikhism? But I've had my sim rig blessed by every religion, so I'm now totally covered. I even reincarnated a Roman, and they've blessed me. Right, so this is what you want to do. Load up whatever car you're going to drive, maybe with the setup that you're going to be using on the centripetal circuit. then what you need to do is you go and you need to learn at what point for counter steer for not losing the rear, like how much throttle can you put on, and actually learn to somewhat drift it. Let's turn the I mean, you really want to do this with the setup as you would have it in the race. So if the car's got traction control, you'd want it on the traction control you'd have in the race. But if you turn it off, it'll make it even more. So what you will find with iRacing, unfortunately, it doesn't really allow you to hold cars in slides as you probably would, as I think you probably would be able to in reality, but also definitely categorically as you can do in sims like AC, even ACC, or even like Race Room and Good Cars in R-Factor 1 and R-Factor 2. But yeah, you do this and you can get a feel for at what point you counter steer. Because normally you're not doing drifting in a race. What will happen in a race normally is you'll be driving around a prolonged corner, probably like this radius, and the back will pop out a little bit. So you need to learn how to like counter steer, or maybe you'll be braking, like someone will crash in front of you. You go around a corner. Let's get around a larger radius. You go around a corner quickly. So you see the rear is almost at the limit here as we're going at this speed. So this is flat, but if you were to imagine these downhill corners at Spa, I can't remember the name, sorry. And like, so this is what causes loads of accidents in iRacing. The cars are like this, they're at the limit, and the car in front crashes, and the car behind goes, oh, and spin off. I don't know, I just understeered there. But you need to know how to be able to catch it, basically, as best possible. If you're an absolute noob in iRacing and you start spinning, one thing you can do is push the accelerator and the brake at the same time with a lot of cars. But I think it's better to not depend on that. It's better to be able to get like this, where you can, as best possible, hold it in a slide. This is the centripetal circuit. There's one for Assetto Corsa as well. This is with the traction control off on this car. You're probably driving with this on like 2 or 3. I know. I keep saying it, but I think like you just have to keep saying it because a lot of people that sim race, they memorise racing. One thing you find with iRacing is that it doesn't, the steering. So again, what I think is the reality in real life, you have a degree of being able to control the slide with the steering wheel as much as you do with the throttle, as much as you do with the brake. iRacing, when you're in a slide, a lot of the slide control, like you do have to counter steer it, but the bulk of the slide control is from the throttle input, which is, it takes a lot of, if you're going to go from AC and some of the other sims that I think are more realistic in that regard, it takes a lot of like changing your mindset. Again, I think of it like a toboggan, like a cross-channel ferry. Like, imagine the car is 4 times heavier than it actually is, based off all your experience with other sims. Imagine you're driving with like ice skates, the toboggan, and then you're like picture that in your head, and you're like, oh, actually, now I'm with it. Yeah, grip won't be the same, but it's not really about memorising anything. It's about just getting a general feel for catching the car, so that when the back steps out or something erratic happens in front of you and you have to make it up on the moment, you are in a position to not spin your car. Turn in and lock the wheel rather than counter steer and it will straighten out. I don't know. Anyway, it's just a thing to do that I think is this centripetal track for someone that's new to sim racing. Getting a feel for that is a really good thing to do. If you load this in Live for Speed or AC, you will literally be able to hold different slip angles and stuff, which is what I think most people would agree that's what you should be able to do if it's actually realistic. But you know, iRacing's got a lot better with its more recent tyre model, and you can still have a lot of fun with it. So as long as you can, from a gameplay perspective, as long as you can, as long as you can catch the car, like say something erratic happens with the car, and the driver can respond to it without a crash happening. Forget what's real or not. From a gameplay perspective, that's more fun. It's less frustrating, and I'd say the newer tyre model and IRFFB in iRacing, which gives you seat of the pants feel, basically magnifies rotational forces from that coming through the front tyres for the rear slip. You know, you've got this in here. You've got a bit of warning. You can feel the build-up of it, and if you go over the limit, you can. In most cases, unless the suspension is bottomed out, with a lot of the cars in iRacing now, you can catch it. So, from a gameplay perspective, it's less annoying and can still be quite fun. Let's do a little bit more practice. We'll do one more of these, and then we'll probably do something else here. I've not tried Circuit Superstars. Why is everybody obsessed with this Circuit Superstars game? The usual throttle and brake trick works with cars that have no ABS. Right, I'm sure I don't know if it's a conversation I had or something I read somewhere, so it could be bollocks, but it makes sense that in real life pushing both the brake and the accelerator might stabilise the car with certain cars, but I don't think it's something you really want to be doing, you know? You're going to be putting wear on all sorts of things. I mean, also, why would you do that if you can actually just catch it? Like, you know. I wish I could use IRFFB every time I tried it with my T300. Loses all force feedback. So that sounds... Did you, when you Salt Kringle, did you get it there and get it in the game where you then have to rebind your steering in the game? If you're losing all force feedback, it sounds like IRFFB is not actually linking up to your wheel. Did you, when you used IRFFB, did you use this setting? You've got this HID Guardian that disables various devices. So basically, because the way IRFFB works is it spoofs iRacing into thinking that the VJoy device is your actual force feedback wheel, and then IRFFB then sends a signal to your force feedback wheel if you're using the VJoy workaround, which reduces the latency. Because a game can only output force feedback to a single device due to how, I guess, how Windows decides to do that sort of stuff. This IRFFB is BS. Better to learn how to feel incoming spins with iRacing force feedback. No. I mean, okay, fine. I disagree, but okay. We always agree, don't we, Leonard? I literally can't play iRacing without IRFFB. Make the front and back ARB stronger. Yeah, well, the objective isn't to be drifting in any racing game. The objective is to hold a sort of 5 degree or thereabouts amount of slip, because that's typically the fastest way around a corner in a race car will be some approximation of the ideal line. That there'll be like a range of ideal lines. It's not going to be a binary thing, but it'll be relatively close to it. And then doing that as fast as possible, which will require you to be going through the corner whilst holding a degree of slip, specifically because when you're in 5 degrees or so of slip angle, that is when you're getting the most amount of workable grip out of a tyre, out of all the tyres of a car. So if you were literally trying to go as fast as possible through a corner, you would, especially when you're on the throttle and stuff and on braking and what have you would have a bit of slip through that, and you'd want to be holding that. That is driving on the limit. Not in all situations, but that's pretty much like the objective.
Right side. Clear.
Hit the like button. As to how much slip is the ideal slip through a corner, it will depend on like the wheel geometry, the specific tyres, the conditions of the road, like so many like variables. But I'm talking about slip angles. Slip angles. The most important thing is when making a cup of tea, though, make sure that you don't have too much slip angle on your mug. Otherwise, you'll pour boiling water all over yourself. Yeah, okay, Leonard. Well, you know, I've had an iRacing account since 2008 or whatever. I've never understood its force feedback other than in cars with road tyres. Niels, I do think subjectively that ACC is too easy at the limit, as is R Factor 2, but iRacing is oddly harsh and strange beyond the limit. Yeah, I think that's the thing. I over the limit. That's the problem with iRacing. Once you go over the limit, it gets in a state of flop and the cars lose all balance. Oh, there's a £400,000 engine puff. I don't know what it is that would why iRacing developers like tire models in real-time physics are mind-bogglingly complicated, and there's a lot of emergent properties that cause the actual end result to be what it is in a driving simulator. So it's not a lot of people are like, oh well, just add more grip, the car's too slippy, just add more grip. And it's like, well, no, it's, you know, it's way more complex than that. But having said that, I don't understand why. Surely once you've gone over the limit, that almost is going to be a separate part of the model, like the physics. I don't know. I don't know why it's something that iRacing seems to be stuck on. It's got better though. The more recent tire models are definitely a lot more forgiving than the older ones. But given that race driving, right, the whole point of race driving is to be find the limit and hold the car at the limit. That's the point. That is the crux of race driving. That is it. Well, winning. People would argue winning is the point of race driving. There's loads of pro race drivers that hate driving. It's just something they can win at. But from a driving perspective, being on the limit and holding it is the point. So it's weird that driving sim developers, I mean, I can understand the tire model thing. You could totally go, well, you know, it's very complicated, so they just haven't found a way to do it within their specific framework that they use. Fine. But the force feedback, we need feel for it. And the force feedback feel is a large component. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Niels, I agree. I mean, I've seen the. Oh, you can look at the.
Sorry.
Grip curves and.
A little bit of advice. You don't.
The point I'm making before is more that.
Just try and drag the brake if you're going to do anything and change.
In iRacing, it's almost as if it is a separate thing, whereas with Live for Speed, original Assetto Corsa, it's not a separate. Like when you've gone over the limit. It's not like the physics have turned off, whereas in iRacing, once you go over the limit, it's like, the physics are turned off. It's like, the grip's turned off. Even in R Factor 2, actually, when you go over the limit in that, it's like, it's as if there's a binary switch that goes, right, you've gone over the limit. We've now gone into over the limit physics state, which is some complete different physics model, where the cars are just, it's almost as if it's, like a fixed value of no grip, like as if you were on ice or a certain surface with a certain grip value that's consistent, and you just keep sliding until the car gets to a certain speed. Whereas Live for Speed and the original AC seem to be the complete opposite of that, where the tyres have lots of different states of grip. Even when you've got to the lowest state of grip, there's still a lot of granularity to it. That's probably a better way of saying it. Candidate, as my wife keeps telling me, it's about the force feedback, exactly. Okay, well, here's another one, Niels. Here's another one this annoys me. And I've seen this popping up a lot on YouTube. There's YouTubers putting out videos where they keep going on about, they'll go, this simulator has all this data. This model's a empirical model versus a procedural model. This sim's got all this data. This time model's the best time model because they've calculated, they're using a lookup table with 4 gigabytes of God knows what. And it's like, if the data put into the model isn't correct, it doesn't matter if it's procedural or empirical. If the data's incorrect, the data's incorrect. And if the data's incorrect and the output clearly doesn't line up to what you can literally, you can't look at videos of cars and go, right, I fully understand how a car is meant to drive in real life. But if you've been in a real car in real life on a track and you've seen real cars in person, you've been in them, and you've seen it of it, you know, it's pretty apparent that some of these things are just not what cars do. And so if a model is clearly given a result that is not realistic, it doesn't matter that if it's empirical or bloody procedural or God knows what. It could be Super Mario. It doesn't matter. If the end result's not realistic. So yeah, you could have perfect data, but you've maybe you've got all the perfect data of what you're aware of, but maybe you're not aware of a variable that's highly relevant for the end result. So your data's totally correct, but your end result's wrong because you've actually missed something in the model. It's so many sim racing YouTubers are regurgitating this more empirical versus whatever models, and they don't understand the reality of models, like the basic. So annoying. It's so annoying when people present it authoritatively as if it's like a given fact, and then people lap it up because it's like an argument from authority, and it's like, Jesus Christ, just anyway, yeah, that's a trigger for me. It's not just with driving sims. Anyone that, like, you could look at the stock market modelling, you could look at modelling for, like, aquifers and dams and overflows and things. Yeah, well, it's the Dunning-Kruger thing, isn't it? Like, the more you know, the less you know. I'm not Niels. I mean, one of the reasons why I like your spreadsheets, but what you often do is you will say, you're like, well, I don't fully know, and you say that cleanly, and I definitely think Jimmy Broadbent's like that as well. He will say, oh, this is what I like or don't like or whatever, but he doesn't say, oh, this is, you know, I know this is the case. He's like, this is my interpretation of it. He doesn't say, oh, this is it. Steve Super GT as well. There's a whole bunch of YouTubers. They clearly define. They're like, I don't know for sure. I just enjoy simulators. I think this is better or worse for these reasons. They contextualize it. Great, but I think some people say stuff so confidently, and you're just like, ah. Of course, I never do that. Okay, can you give a brief list of the things that wind you up? Oh, well, it's not just one, is it? There's a whole bunch of them. We just ask them nicely to stop doing it. It's not just within Sims though; that it's within loads of things. Oh, I hate all YouTubers, so it's okay. Psycho Baldy. It's like with religion as well. You know, you'll have someone going, well, I've determined the truth of the universe. It's like, well, have you? Like, oh, based on what? That's true. That's always a good strategy. Yeah, DMCA takedown's a great tool. It's a shame that you have to be really rich to be able to abuse the DMCA system, or in a territory that's not part of the United Nations, or a location where someone's not likely to call you up on it. Hello, Frosty Bird. Race cars, Jesus. Depends how big the tyres are. There's that video of that pedalo that's a car, and it works on both. It doesn't work very well on the ground. It's like, you know that slow motion footage of the drag car? Wait, you go on YouTube, guys, and watch slow motion footage of a drag car launch. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Like the torsion on the tyre and the delay between, obviously it's slow motion, so it's not actually that delayed in reality, but relatively speaking, like the outer part of the tyre carcass is literally like a quarter of the way around the wheel before the middle is moving, or vice versa. It's mental. But that's what these that's what those water driving tyres look like, but in real time. Well, is that just because they're going fast enough? Are you saying, Niels, if I get this Ferrari here, or if I buy a Radical, I can drive it across the channel? I'm going to DMCA take down your channel if that's not the case. more music from Niels. Jesus was using the movable aerodynamic device. FIA have banned him. Did Jesus walk on water? Is that one of the... is that like a misinterpretation of one of the prophecies? Or was that actually an actual... I mean, I know the breaking of the bread and the wine and everything. You know, and I know that Moses can move water away. I'd rather be able to move water out of the way rather than walk on water. It seems more useful. Especially if you do sim racing, you could just move everyone out of the way. Maybe it only works on water. But you could move the fuel in the car out of the way and then the engines will cut off.
Clear.
Let's not get into who DCMA do. Coefficient of friction. Oh no, stop typing stuff. I don't do technical. Big words, too big.
Left side.
All good stories.
Still there, hold your line. Clear.
Oh, that's a nice car skin. I like that.
Slow car ahead.
I can feel it in the dirty air tonight. Oh Lord. Dum, dum, dum. Boom, 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 boom.
Car on your left. Clear.
How does the rest of that song go? I don't know. I like Phil Collins. Simon Porvey. Can't catch this. You can write your own original song. I think Niels is just trying to get DMCA takedowns on his channel. Hello, Mr. Inspired One. Good afternoon to you as well. Thanks for tuning in.
Car right.
Is it actually... Oh, shit, the
Clear.
bed. Sorry.
Left side. Clear
So,
on
I
the
was
left.
looking out my window. Sorry. I was checking out my window to see if it was sunny and I just killed someone. Ooh. Need more tea. Need a biscuit. Oh, it's about... The next session's about to start. There's no point going on the track. More hertz is always better. Do you mean for monitors? I think once you get to about 90 hertz, it's almost imperceptible for most people, especially after 120. Break your I missed Limp Bizkit. Nigel Carunthers, hello man, how's it going? Welcome back. Yeah, well, as an example of monitor refresh rate, this monitor goes up to 144. But I run it at 90 hertz because the HDMI cable from my... So I have a HDMI cable that goes from my main PC to my streaming PC, which is then a pass-through through the AVerMedia 4K capture card. And because this is... it's not 4K, it's like 256 or whatever, I don't know. With the length of cables I have and all the power cables and all the other shit on the sim rig, lighting, there's a lot of noise. So by running this monitor at 90 hertz, it reduces the chance of it cutting out, like the signal cutting out, which it can do. Very rarely it does it, but if you're in the middle of a race, very rarely it's not good enough. And the other aspect is, if you're playing games like ACC, which unless you're using G-Sync, tend to get frame timing issues. Unreal Engine games tend to have frame timing things. It's just very annoying. If you're running your monitor at 90 hertz and then you use VSync, your VSync will be at 90 hertz. So it just ends up with a smoother image. Whereas if you try and run VSync at 120 hertz with ACC, good luck unless you've got a supercomputer. But if you were at home, if you're not live streaming and you don't have all crap on your sim rig, you'd probably be fine. You're not having to bother with doing that with this sort of setup. But yeah, and the point is, I run it at 90 hertz, and that still gets you that really... There's like a smoothness you get, I think, after you get to about 90 hertz, where it's like, oh, that's like a gaming monitor. Cables are a nightmare. Easy to get issues with iRes. Exactly. You need short cables. I've got really good cables. All my cables, I actually just use coat hangers. I think the best thing is, yeah, insulating the cables and separating them out, but I just don't have space to do that properly, and I'm always plugging things in and what have you. Kitex, original AC stutters with G-Sync above 90. Oh, it shouldn't. That's maybe with... is that with the shader patch? I mean, one other thing I found with a lot of games is basically... You want to be running at like 120 FPS or something, because that will mean that the frame timing is always perfect. Again, if you're using G-Sync and things, it's slightly different. But if you're on a higher frame rate, your frame timing will generally be better. It's like with VR, your internal game render could be really, really fast, but then it's capped on the headset. Which just means you're never going to get in a situation where your PC drops frames or, you know... I do use KTAA. Artful, can I run Fanatec pedals in an Xbox controller in ACC? Yeah, sure. Oh, do you mean are you playing on console? Yeah, you'll be able to buy it. So if you're on PC... If you're playing on a PC, you can bind separate devices. Like, the game doesn't know what's what. They're just axes and what have you. So, yeah, you should be able to do that perfectly fine. Exactly, Tortellini. Josh Martin. No, not really. No. This Asus ROG Strix monitor I'm using is really nice. But to be honest, all the gaming monitors are fairly, you know, there's only like 3 companies producing the panels, so actually, weirdly, Linus Tech Tips is normally pretty good for their gaming monitor recommendations. I don't think Gamers Nexus do them. As we're on the subject, rtings.com is really good for TVs if you're doing gaming on a console and you're looking at what's a good TV with low latency. It's ratings.com, but like I think it's about like rtings. Yeah, I really like Asus monitors, but I mean, the BenQ monitors are quite nice as well. Actually, the BenQ ones are cheap and quite nice. But it depends. You really have to go from monitor to monitor, and with the good gaming monitors, I think I found, because I mean I've got an AOC monitor, I've got this Asus monitor, and I've got a BenQ monitor. The biggest thing that annoys me is not the actual panels on the screens, it's the bloody way that you control the monitor. So some of them have like this one has really stupid, this Asus monitor, the buttons are really stupidly laid out. So if you want to quickly change settings, it's just annoying. Like, it's not very obvious to navigate when you're doing a little fiddle. Whereas some of the monitors have that little joystick thing, so you can go through the menu, and it just makes it so much nicer to change settings. It's not the end of the world because you only change settings once, but, or you know, you do it when you first get it. But that is actually a... It's surprising that monitors mess that up, given that the panels are basically all the same. Yeah, check Linus though. I'm not someone to really talk about monitors. I mean, and actually, one thing to keep in mind is driving sims are really not that demanding for monitors. Compared to VR or compared to if you're like an elite CSGO player or something, you know, driving sims, everything's quite slow in terms of what's actually being displayed. But I don't know, maybe contrast and colours might be more of a priority. Ghosting can be an issue actually with racing sims when you're driving at night and a car's bright. So the nature of ghosting on a monitor when there's a single bright thing and everything else is dark, that would be quite relevant for racing sims. That'd be a good thing to double check. Try and do a quad here. Yeah, that you're right actually. Yeah, the dead pixel things are huge. Guys, those messages are too long. Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've seen that one. Yeah, so the dead pixel thing is a huge... that's definitely a big aspect of... I've had that happen before. You know, if you're buying a larger monitor, really it's not acceptable for it to have a dead pixel, because that's something you're going to be looking at. Maybe it's less of a concern with like a 4K TV because the pixels are so small, but on a gaming monitor, I personally would pay... I'd pay, you know, if you're spending like £500 plus or £400 plus on a monitor, I would happily pay another £30 to guarantee there's no dead pixels, because if I've ever had a dead pixel on a gaming monitor, it's effing annoying. I had a friend of mine bought a laptop, a gaming laptop, which was like, I think it was like $1.5 grand, £2 grand or something. This was back in 2000s. It had a dead pixel right in the middle. But it was slightly off. It wasn't right in the middle. It was in the just slightly off to the side, but basically in the middle. And the company were like, "No, we're not. We won't accept a replacement." Imagine that. So annoying. I'd have probably done a chargeback on a credit card. Niels, yeah, well, the curved monitor thing's weird. So it seems to be a gimmick mostly, outside of what you're saying in terms of the projection and what have you. But they're not actually curved. Like, so what it is that somebody like there was a whole thing in 2013 or so where there was this whole monitors trying to differentiate themselves, the TVs trying to differentiate themselves. They're like, oh, it's curved, so it's something that's different, so it's something to get consumers in on and make our product that's the same as everything else look different. And then the gaming monitors were like, oh, hang on, we can do this as well, because ultimately, as you know, the LCD panel is somewhat flexible. So all they do is they basically, it's an actual flat monitor, and they've just is slightly flexible, so they bend it a little bit. But it's like the curvature's so minute that it's kind of pointless from a functionality standpoint. And also you end up with these gaps on the edge, and the bezel has to be thicker. It's like, but I mean, I don't mind on this monitor. The curve's so small, I don't mind it. But if you were doing triple screens with ultra wides and they're curved, it's not enough for it to make sense. Yeah, it is a weird. It's one of those weird things. Obviously driven by marketing rather than science. James Andrew, I used to get random dead pixels, but it was because my NVIDIA TNT2, graphics card was gradually being more worse. I used to get that in R Factor 1, actually. My graphics card would go into meltdown. And Operation Flashpoint would cause me to get weird artifacting that looked like dead pixels. Yes, if you take it out of its case, Latin Mastrix, you can bend it. The worst thing with curved monitors, as I say, I actually quite like curved monitors, regardless of like if it's good or not objectively. I just got used to it. But the worst thing, if you game on a curved monitor, or use it as your main PC monitor, and then you go from doing that and you look at a flat TV, your brain's got used to the curvature and your brain has flattened it out. So when you look at the flat TV, the TV looks like it's convex or concave. I always get them mixed up. And that's annoying. King Carrot came here for the 8-figure. Okay, we'll give it a go after this one. Yeah, I don't think they're bad, Josh. I mean, I like them. I think Niels was just talking on it from a sort of scientific standpoint of if you were to line everything up perfectly and the values of it. But I like the slight curve thing. I think you just got used to it. I've had the chance to use some absolutely awesome curved projector setups as well, like amazing ones where you use like 3 projectors that are overlaid to do specific things for like cave VR systems, and they're awesome. Simulation. Yeah, but so the problem is though, it depends where you're going to put it to your. A lot of it would depend on how far is the monitor from your eyes. If you're being totally scientific about it. At the end of the day, everyone knows that VR headsets are the only way to go. So, I mean, compared to, we just need VR to get lighter. We need foveated rendering. We need dynamic depth of field, like light fields. And we need a VR headset to just be shades. The field of view is not necessarily a problem as that is right now. Like that's fine. The resolution, we're pretty much there for the most part. It's good enough, basically. We just need it in the shades. Wireless shade form factor. Oh, God, it'd be so good. Because the size of VR is still a problem. The actual tracking and everything, which were the problem in the past. Tracking was the thing that was holding... frame timing and tracking were the objective things holding VR back in the past. Not just the size of them and those things. Now we've solved that basically to an adequate level. We just need smaller, lighter headsets. Ah, temptation's got the inside. Go for it.
Stay on the right. Clear on the left.
Will he turn in? Yes, of course he will. I think that was a bit of a... Whoa! All right, matey. Get in there. VR's effing amazing. Like, how good is VR? How, like, is... I don't know, maybe this is because I'm old now, or getting old, but is... The thing is, honestly, the first time you use the first time you use VR, it genuinely is like sort of transcendental experience, if you will. It is actually incredible. This guy's a bit erratic. Let's see if we can get the inside again
Car on
here.
your left.
I'm pretty sure he's going to take us out, so I'm a bit worried to actually try and do a move here. I've got a feeling this guy's going to take himself out or the car in front before. Like, it might be better to just keep a distance from this guy in front, because he's very all over the place. What's his name? Let's call him out. Sergio Terry. I think he's about to commit surgery on the car, on Christopher Bella. Christopher Bella's about to have a Sergio inserted right into his exhaust pipe. Oh man, what's going on here?
Slow car ahead.
Absolute. It's only a 15-minute race, so I'm just pretty sure if I pass Sergio, I'm almost guaranteed he's going to ram us. Not vindictively, I just feel like he doesn't seem to have that much control of his car. There we go.
Go right, go right, go right.
Shit in the bed.
The next car's the leader.
Okay, well that took those three guys out. Nice thing is I do have pace to pass Sergio here, so... Hang on, I'm car number 1, so I should be winning this. Shit. We're not going to be getting iRacing, so yeah, I need to push. We've been putting a lower split. Sorry for missing chat messages here. Go right, go right. I think we're in 3rd place. Car number's based on your iRating, right? Or is it based on your qualifying? Day Itchy, how's it going, man? Do not trust this car in front of me. I think he's had a few too many drinks. Maybe he's not had his morning. Oh, he's just lagging. I think that's what it is. Okay. Oh yeah, so I need to win, otherwise we're going to lose our rating. We're in 3rd.
You're in 4th position.
Right, 4th. Jesus. We'll get on the brake there. Throttle. Oh, he's going to hit him. No. How do we get past this guy? Jack the Ripper. Here we go. Will he run wide into this car on his right? No, we've got a nice overtake on him. My donation alert. It's from some Southeast Indian film. Oh no, Trottle's from Samir.
Car right. Clear on the right.
I had to go off track there. I mean, to be fair, my line was terrible. A bit ambitious. Sausage bounce. Yeah, the car's really reluctant to turn through them. Triple caution! You're breaking the car, Samir. Gonzo, yeah, it's really hard to line things up properly. It's a useful skill to have, Gonzo. If you ever wanted to, if you're looking to get jobs in the games industry, getting good at doing car skins in Photoshop is a good sort of fundamental texturing skill, especially if you find if you can do it very neatly, and you can also, like, if you can come up with your own design that's a really nice design and get it onto a car skin in a way that looks nice, go through the whole process. It's a good basic sort of skill to have. Very satisfying as well, because you can see the results. We've got 8 minutes here to Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, arse. I had to brake to avoid him. He was so slow and they pulled over to the left, which meant the car behind could get past. And the car in front was slow because he went off-road. What a dick. At least there wasn't an accident, so it was all positive, but it's frustrating. It's really annoying when you haven't done anything wrong and you end up losing a place. Should have just driven into him. Yeah, Track IR is not good for driving sims because the head movement's not one-to-one, and it dislocates you from what the car's doing visually, and your sort of visual reference of the car relative to the road is quite important. I am blue. We got to get past this guy. The crash is already gone. We got to get. Such a frustrating race. We got the pace, but it's avoiding crashes. When you're the car behind, you got to, you can't just demand the place in front. I mean, that's the fun of racing, though, isn't it? It's quite nice if you know that you're faster. It's actually quite fun trying to work a way past without crashing. I normally do crash into people, so. Yeah, you can set up Track IR exactly how you want it, but it has delay to it. It's just not a good solution for driving sims unless you. I mean, I guess you could use it as a replacement for look left, look right with some arbitrary value set to it, but you are ultimately dislocating yourself from the car because the tracking on it is not. It's not quick enough tracking for your brain to be able to negate the movement of Track IR relative to the in-game movement, even if you set it up one-to-one. That's the difference. Like with a VR headset, it's not only one-to-one. The tracking is at like 2 milliseconds. If it might even be lower than that for VR in terms of the head tracking, which basically means that your brain can filter out your movement like you do in real life to then detect the relative movements of the car. But hey, Leonard, you're going to disagree with anything I say. Whoa!
On your left.
Send brigade! Oh, come on!
Clear on the left. Car on your left.
Oh, you
right.
cock-a-noodle.
Right.
I think my move was pretty good. He left the door open, and then he counter-attacked, and now we're upside down. We're now Australian. I think that was all right. I think this guy, like, why is he, like, acting as if I'm not even there at all? I mean, it was a bold move. Like, right, in fairness, this was quite an aggressive move, but he's really slow. We're already, at this point, we're side by side at this point. So we're on his inside, like, we're more than halfway up his car here. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn in even more just in case. So I'm like, I'm being extra precautious here. He's turning in, he's closing it. He's coming across, like, even if he's closing across there, there'd have been no way for me to avoid that, whatever we did. I think that's his fault. Yeah, as long because we're already going into the corner here. Going into the corner at this point here, we are effectively side by side. So this guy at this point, this guy needs to not leave space ahead, but he needs to be aware that there's a car on the inside and not turn into it. I've been aware that he's on the outside, so I'm like preemptively right. I'm gonna be super careful. I'm going to leave as much room as physically possible. And he's just cut across there. Oh, and it lagged as well. Oh well, there goes the iRating. There goes my car upside down. That's annoying. We had the pace there as well. Also, this guy had only got in front of us because of us avoiding the previous accident. The rare cat, exactly. It takes a lot for me to not be guilty. Right, look at this. This is where it went wrong. Bloody hell. So, we were catching on these guys here. He goes wide. This guy's so slow, and then he pulls across to defend it, which is fair enough. I'd have done the same thing. But then I had to brake, and that's what let this guy through, which then ultimately ended up in our death. Oh well, we'll finish the race. Unless the car's terminally damaged. Someone's had to pick the car up and turn it around. Wow, this is going to be a total iRating disaster. I mean, the only way I could have avoided that accident was not going for the overtake, but there's only so much time left in the race, so I would, yeah, I mean, I had to get the overtake in, so, oh well. I'll have a cup of tea. Before I went full VR, I had Ed Tracker unit. It depends what you're doing though. Like, yeah, there is a degree of how you set up a head tracker, but you have to think, well, what are you looking at in a driving sim? The utility you get from it. So in a flight sim, head tracking on a 2D monitor in a flying game, especially a combat flight simulator, is basically a necessity if you want to play a combat flight sim. And even like civil aviation, 90% of flying a slow plane is the process of looking out the windows and making sure it's clear, there's no one around you, and awareness of everything. The same with combat flight sims. Maybe less so with jet planes because well, no, actually they do still look around a lot. But in a combat flight sim, it's like mostly awareness rather than flying the plane. It's like, well, where is everyone? You know, how are they moving? Those things. So head tracking, and then all the stuff in the cockpit and everything. Same with like Euro Truck Sim or a road driving simulator. 6th is better than 19th, but it's not 7th. But ball bag. Sorry if I already asked you this, but I joined the stream. Have you tried Circuit Superstars? No. What is this Circuit Superstars game good? Because everyone keeps going on about it. Yeah, so Andreas Otto, when I used a head tracker, when I've used a head tracker myself with driving sims, what I ended up setting it up for was effectively it had a big dead zone in the middle, so when you're driving optimally, your head movement's not causing any movement that dislocates you from the actual movement of the car. But if you were to move your head to the left like that, it would then snap to the left, so you're basically using it to replace left and right buttons. That was the only real use case that I found. It didn't, it didn't get in the way of the driving. Obviously, there's going to be people that can get used to it and whatever, but I think for most people, a head tracker for racing sim will end up getting in the way, and ultimately, like, the fact is I haven't used one for like 6 years, 7 years, and it's not, I'll have to check it out.
White flag this time.
In terms of looking to Apex with a head tracker, unless you're driving on something like Norse Ring, or very tight corners, you should be, in a literal sense, you should normally be looking like hundreds of meters ahead. Like by the time you're at the corner, you're already looking past it. I don't know. Like, in terms of spotting other cars, you're much better off with something like Helicorsa or a crazy FOV rear view mirror that achieves the goal of being aware of the cars around you. Much better than trying to use the mirrors. Even in VR, where you get the proper head tracking and you look in the mirror and then the mirror reflection allows you to better cover blind spots and things, you're better off using something like Helicorsa as well. Joel Trinter, hello. How have I set up the lighting? I have lots of candles. No, I have a 30 watt LED spot to my left, which points at the wall on the right, and then I have a 50 watt warm white LED spotlight on the back of my sim rig pointing at the ceiling, and then I have a 50 watt multicolored LED spotlight that's also pointing at the ceiling, that's set to orange. That's basically the lighting. Yeah, well, that's the other thing, Tortellini. If someone's got to the point where they are actually competitive in a sim, i.e. they've done more than like 7 hours of practice around a given track, you know the track. It's not, the apexes are not a surprise. Like, you're not driving using that as a reference particularly. Unless it's a track. There are some specific tracks where you really can't, like Pocono has corners like that, Norse Ring, maybe the right-handers at Red Bull Ring and what have you. There are some tracks where you can't see anything on a monitor unless you have triple screen. Joel Trainter, yeah, so those, you can get them on Amazon for about £25. In fact, the one they stopped selling the warm white spots, but I don't know what brand this is, but the one I just put a new one on the right there, comes with this little remote. They're the cheapest way of doing it. Don't bother with, like, you can get like Philips Hue and all those things. They're just a rip-off. You just get these little spots. And the nice thing with these, I've got one down here actually. I don't know if the cable's long enough. No, you guys can't see it. The nice thing with the little spots is they have like a bracket on them, so you can screw them onto T-slot and things. Which VR? Well, if you haven't tried VR, you might as well and you don't mind Facebook, you might as well just save money and get the Oculus Quest 2. It's not perfect, but it's the best value for money headset. And then my favourite headset overall is still the Valve Index, just out of comfort and stuff. Right, that was an absolute failure. Let's see what our let's check out the iRacing pain from that. That was traumatic. Bugger me arse. We only lost 0.1, but we lost a lot of iRating. Thanks to the guy that ramshackled us there. Oh well. Yeah. It's annoying, that Facebook thing. What were we going to do? We're going to do one more. No, I'd have to buy the track. I don't have the track. Well, you know what, guys? I think I might, after that disaster... What's this 13th week? Oh, it's not rated. After that disaster, I'm going to go... I think I'm going to get some food to eat because I'm absolutely starving here. Need to eat something. I just wanted to pop on and gain iRating, but I think we ended up losing it, so... 1,609. No, we did still gain iRating overall. It's just not too bad. So yeah, guys, thank you everyone for watching this little impromptu morning stream. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for the donations. We had actually, I should be able to read it off here. Sorry about earlier. We had the technical issue where Streamlabs decided to spam spam old donations for the last 3 days. So sorry if I missed some of them. But we had Nipper R and Audrey Zarlev. It's 1:20 p.m. here. I'm starving. Thank you, guys. Might see you guys after dinner. I sing DD Gill when people become channel members. But yeah, hope everyone's good. Hope you have a nice rest of your Friday. If I don't come back on, I probably will do. It will notify. Click the subscribe button, click the bell and all that lark, and then when I do go live, you'll see it. Follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, you know, all that business. Go and subscribe to Tortellini's YouTube channel and tell him that he needs to learn how to drive as well. He drives like a robot. Take care, everyone. Thank you for watching. Goodbye later. Goodbye for later. See you later, alligator.